I've had female friends who say, nothing's ever going to happen. I just see you as my broski. And then, a couple of drinks start flying and, hey, come help me put up my TV. I need to put up I need you to help me mount it on the wall before you know we're both naked. But the topic we're going to talk about is, can men and women be friends? Now, I have my say and I have my belief, and I'm going to save my belief for the very end. But I put a poll out there and just to share with everybody. But Taryn, let's start with you. Can men and women be just friends?
So, in true lawyer form, I'm not going to give you a straight answer.
Oh,
I don't know. I think I probably lean towards yes. I don't. It's so hard for me to give a straight answer. But here's my theory on it. I think that it's a spectrum. What I mean by that is, like, I have a guy friend in particular. There's never been any sexual anything ever.
Mm-hmm.
Now, maybe he feels that, but doesn't say it. I'll never know. But we've never discussed that. He's the kind of friend I could go to lunch with, and it's like, cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the other part of the spectrum is like you creep towards the other side, right? And then you've got like colleagues. Are they friends? Friends that there is definitely a sexual connection. Friends that you've already had a sexual past with.
Yep.
It's just a spectrum. I think I'd like to say yes, I think they can be, but I can definitely see the argument to it might be difficult.
Well, you represent the industry that destroys relationships, so I would tend to hear that from you.
But CP, I like to think of it as I'm helping people move on to bigger and better things.
Yeah.
We're trapped in hell, and she's helping us get out of hell.
Helping you to the next best thing in life.
My divorce was probably the
Single,
best thing that happened to my adulthood.
So you're saying yes. So what your answer is yes. It's a spectrum. It varies, but ultimately yes. Like
I think yes, but I mean the caveat for me is if I was in a serious relationship with a guy, and he said, "Hey babe, I'm going to go to lunch with so and so," I'd probably give him a look and have a million questions. And so that kind of then leads me to think like maybe we can't, because what am I feeling about that? She better not be prettier than me, because if she is, you're definitely not going to lunch.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Again, it's a spectrum. I think it just depends on a lot of different factors. I can only think of one guy friend that I have. I think there's problems there with guys wanting to cross boundaries.
Mm-hmm. And as a woman, right away, right? There has to be some sort of like feeling or look that guys give you that that is present, and it can't be ignored, right?
Yeah, I mean, even being a professional woman and you have colleagues, which isn't exactly a friendship, but you, as a woman, you kind of get a vibe from a guy.
Yeah.
If they want to go in a different direction or if they have different intentions. So it's tough. I don't know.
Okay. Charlotte, what do you think?
Yeah, I think first, what you kind of have to look at, like, what is your definition of friends? I think there's everyone has a different bar for friendship. Like some people are very liberal with calling people friends. Like as long as some people, it's like if someone's nice to me and I've hung out with them before, we're friends. So I think, using the term like friends by itself, I think, yes, men and women, I think can be friends. Yes, with a giant asterisk next to it. I think, how do you define friends? I think there's a difference between being friends and being friendly. I also think how they met matters as well. Like, I think it should be something that should be able to be explained in one sentence. That could be that would sound like a reasonable, like, platonic friendship. Like you could make a woman making a female friend the same way. Like I think if their way they met is like oh, we matched on a dating app and didn't vibe, but we decided we're just gonna, stay hanging out as friends. Like that's, kind of odd. Or the person you met at a bar and you exchanged numbers because you wanted to be friends, and now you're best friends at age 28 for a year. Like that's weird. But your coworker who you've been a desk partner with for 3 years and you're friends because you've gotten to know them, different story. Or like the person that grew up in your oh, thank you. The person that grew up on your street, your moms are friends that you've known for years. That's like reasonable.
I have to just jump in. Because the first thing she said that Charlotte said, I related to, because I think I fall into that category of using the word friend very liberally. So like,
right.
I call everybody a friend, even if they're really just an acquaintance. And that's actually gotten me personally into trouble before with boyfriends that are like, they have questions about all these guy friends. And I'm like, well, okay, well, let me back up. It's not really a friend. I'll explain it. So, but that I think just goes to the whole, like, there's a spectrum, right? Like it just depends on so many different variables. So I don't know. I personally really related to that very first comment she made.
Totally. I call everybody my friend. So it's kind of like, oh, like friend. It's like, oh yeah, like here, let me explain the friendship. And I think when they have those friendships, it's like appropriate boundaries as well. Like it's never going to look the same way like a female friendship or like a male friendship is going to look. I think just like as a whole.
Present questions. If that's the thing, if it's a male and female friendship, it presents a bunch of questions, I think. Whereas it's a girl friendship, no one's asking questions.
What about
straight? You mean?
And before I get to you, Charles, real quick, I have to ask ladies. Okay, what if there's attraction? What if he's a really good-looking guy? Does that change the spectrum in any way, shape, or form?
Yeah, I think. Well, yes. If you're in a relationship with somebody else and you have a friend that you have a physical attraction to, I think that is then just setting yourself up for a potentially bad situation. And I wouldn't want to be on the opposite side of that. I wouldn't want to have, again, a boyfriend or a husband who admittedly has a physical attraction to a friend that happens to be a girl. I would not be comfortable with that. But if I'm single and I have lots of guy friends that I know, and they're good looking guys, or but I do just consider them friends. But if I was in a relationship, a boyfriend or a husband may not appreciate that from me.
Attraction, Charlotte, does that change the variables?
All my friends. Oh, Charlotte, sorry.
No, you're all good. I think kind of like that's where the how did you meet and why are you friends comes in. Like you can't help the person who sits next to you at work. And I think a lot of times too, when you meet someone under like those circumstances where you make friends, like maybe the attraction isn't there the way it would be if it was, someone you met at a bar, like the dating app match that didn't work out. Like the person who, ugly duckling kind of growing up, your neighbor that you grew up with and you've been, friends for years, your moms are friends. Yeah, they might be extremely attractive, but you almost like grew up like siblings, so you're not attracted to them. So I think it really varies person to person.
Okay. And Charles?
We're going to stick with CP because Charlotte and Charles, to my ears,
okay, CP.
Sound
okay, what is your
exactly
answer?
The same. Well, I only have attractive men friends, so
of course, yeah.
It's kind of hard, but I agree with everybody. There's caveats. It's a case by case basis. If you're physically attracted to somebody up front, it kind of makes things. I don't know. Odd. Yeah, difficult. The rope's a little taut to begin with. So, the older you get, the more control you seem to have over urges, for a lack of better term. If you're asking 15-year-old me, I would say if I'm attracted to it's impossible.
Right.
But, over time, I'm somebody who was attracted to somebody who wasn't straight. And I was, all right, well, can't cancel out having conversations.
Okay. My answer is no. Just flat out no. It can't happen. No. And again, there's professional like acquaintances and friendships like I have with you two there, and Angela Knight, all that. We're all collaborators and we're all building content. So there's a respect level there that I think that's impenetrable. Like that's the barrier that will never happen. And plus, we're all mature adults. But in my space, like to your point, Charlotte, when I started dating, I lost all my friends. So whenever a girl that I was talking to, it didn't work out, I'd always say, "Hey, I have no friends," and I wasn't what you were looking for, but let's be friends. I don't know what the hot bar is. Maybe you can introduce me to your friends, and I could get to know more people. So it is weird to have that. We dated, maybe hooked up once or twice, and now we're just friends, and that kind of be in the air for the longevity that that person. That never ends well. It never does. And to the attraction piece, no. I've had female friends who say, nothing's ever going to happen. I just see you as my broski. And then, a couple of drinks start flying and, hey, come help me put up my TV. I need to put up the, I need you to help me mount it on the wall before we're both naked. So it's like you have
the TV.
Yeah, mount the TV on the wall. And then I'm there, and then she makes me dinner. And then before you know it, we're doing something, and it totally ruins a friendship. It's never the same again. And then you stop talking. So in my opinion, no, the only variable again is the attraction piece. If you are not attracted to him or her, nothing's going to happen. Nothing. But if there is any portion of attraction, anything, what's it? Not is it not Occam's razor? With Murphy's law, anything that can happen will happen. It's going to happen eventually. And also, the shelf life of being a friend with a female, from a guy's point of view, the shelf life is only maybe less than 6 months, because she always meets a guy who has a problem with you, and it starts some drama, and then she'll stop talking to you to start, being serious with this other guy. So it never lasts long either.
That's such a good point.
That's happened to me all the time.
It's happened to me. I had to break up with a male friend.
Because a woman saw you as a threat?
Because I was dating a narcissist. That's a whole nother topic.
Okay. Whoa. Okay.
Show. But I think this is important for people watching to know too. Like, no one should ever tell you, like, early on anyway, like what to do, like, lose certain friends and like, certain things that like there's a healthy way to discuss, I think, this topic at a certain like appropriate point in time. But I was in a situation where like it was like, no, you're not allowed. And I cut off a friend. And that's true though. Like the other side may have a problem with it. And then that person feels like, all right, I have to like kind of get rid of that friend. And that sucks. But sometimes maybe it's valid, but there's a time and a place and a way to do that. And I think to Charlotte's point, what if it's like your childhood long friend and there's never been any history of anything, It also depends on, I think, like, what are you doing with this friend? Like, are you guys chatting on the phone all night long in front of like your partner? That's okay. Probably not okay. Or like, are you having dates, a couple times a week with your friends? I just think it's like, what are we doing with the friends?
Well, I mean, like with any friend, I think, there has to be a certain level. There has to be boundaries, right? There has to be that.
Yeah.
And if you have a guy friend, I think the boundary, if I'm like, let's say I'm dating you, Taryn, and you have a guy friend, the way I saw it in the dating world going in at 39 is like, everybody I'm dating has had a life.
Yeah.
They've made friends. Who the hell am I to tell them that they can't talk to a friend they've known for 4 or 5 years, right? But to keep that level of respect, if I see anything that's kind of like, okay, I'm not comfortable with that, I'll speak up.
Exactly.
And let you know, like, hey, you were really drunk with him the other night, and those posts really I don't like that. So let's something of that nature. But again, there has to be a level of trust for somebody coming in and not force you to make a decision, because I think that's an immediate red flag on the person that's coming into your life. Like, hey, no, we're severing that. I don't like that. I think that's a big red flag.
Rudy, I would piggyback that statement with, when you enter a relationship, not friends, I'm talking about, lovers, you never have a situation where both partners are equally confident. You have somebody that's a little more insecure than the other. Okay. And that will always play into these theological scenarios here.
Yeah, very true. And they may be cool with it at first, but then you
Yeah.
kind of start to see the signs of the
Yeah.
it was just an act.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't laugh like that at my jokes with it.
Mhm.
But yeah, like I said, in truth, in my opinion, no, it can't work. And yes, there
It's
are
a
some.
hard no.
Oh, no, well, like
See,
CP said, like CP said, as at 46, yes, I have the self-control and discipline to behave. But younger Rudy, who didn't make all these mistakes and learn from them, no. If the attraction's there, there's always a chance. And most guys, we've all seen those cliche viral videos with the guys say he's just waiting until you're heartbroken or hurt for him to swoop in. A lot of guys, yeah, I've done that too. I mean, I hate to admit it, but yeah, some of us are just jerks and we're waiting for our turn.
Yeah, I don't know. I try to put myself in the position of like, if I was with somebody and they had a female friend, I don't know that I'd be okay with it. Like, there's a certain, again, like, to what extent are they hanging out or talking? How long have they known each other? So that's why I started out with like, there's like a spectrum for me. I don't know, because I just can't give a straight answer, I guess. Sorry.
Yeah, and plus, I guess to tie up my point with what I was mentioning earlier, if I'm dating like you and you start telling this guy friend all of our business and what I'm not doing right,
Ooh.
that's a
Ooh.
huge red flag there. And there's like some intimacy that you both have that I think would be like, I think most people, men or women, would be uncomfortable with
Mhm.
if you're confiding everything to this other person.